Occasionally, people will ask me about my thoughts on pursuing a degree in music. With the new school year freshly underway, I thought it would be a good time to weigh in on this. I graduated from college with a bachelor's in contemporary music in 2013 and have been a working musician since. So keep in mind, I have my own biases. Today, I'll tell you how I was able to get the most out of my experience, and hopefully that can help you decide if music school is right for you as well. So should you go to music school? Statistically speaking, probably not. I don't have the exact numbers, but there were roughly 120 of us that graduated in my year, and I would guess that maybe 10% or so have found success as musicians. I'm not including those who dropped out along the way. If so, this stat would be significantly lower. To me, this number seems staggeringly low compared to, say, the 98% of people in med school who go on to become doctors. Most graduates will teach privately, work outside of music while occasionally gigging, work in another facet of the music industry, leave the business altogether, and some find their way back into the college system after pursuing masters and doctorates. Success is a subjective term, and while those things didn't appeal to me, if that works for you, power to you. Now, on the flip side, I do have some peers who went on to land those dream positions. I know some touring musicians who play in the world's biggest bands, some highly successful producers, as well as some artists who have built a name from the ground up. Remember, colleges and universities need money to survive. They need people enrolling and paying tuition. So when they're taking you on a tour of the campus, showing off at their open house, sending out those newsletters, they're showcasing the small percentage of successful graduates. You don't hear about the guy playing for tips when he's not working as a bartender. It's a business, that's how it works. The point that I'm trying to make is that from what I can see statistically, music school doesn't make sense for most. It's a piece of paper, and unlike degrees you may get from other fields, it's probably not going to get you a job. Trust me, after I graduated, I sent out my resume a lot, and not one job posting besides guitar teacher had a bachelor's of music as a prerequisite. Getting a degree in music was absolutely crucial for whatever success I've found today. So let's talk about why you would get a music degree. It's a cliched saying, but it's all about the journey and what you get from that, not the end point. My degree gave me skills that would have taken significantly longer to acquire in the real world. I received first-hand instruction on my instrument from the best musicians in Canada. I was able to work as an assistant engineer in a world-class studio with limited experience in the recording field. I also had classes in a number of different things, not limited to music business, marketing, as well as music history. What you see here on my YouTube channel is a reflection of this, and without those experiences, this doesn't exist. But again, I wasn't handed this job when I graduated. I had to build it from the ground up. I had to make all the skills I acquired through my degree work for me. And when I was studying, every step of the way, I would ask myself, how is this thing that I'm learning gonna make me money in the future? When it was time to enter the workforce, I was significantly more prepared to do so than if I had never gotten a degree in the first place. The other huge thing that my schooling did for me was introduce me to my network. See, you probably aren't going to charm or impress your way into the inner circle of established musicians. But when you're surrounded by young, talented musicians, you gain access to the next generation of established pros. You get to rise up in the ranks with them. This network will be the thing that gets you indoors and ultimately gets you work. If all these things we've talked about so far seem like something you can get behind, then maybe music school is right for you. But there are definitely people I would strongly discourage from this. I think going out of high school right into university is a very tough thing to do. You need to live outside the classroom and have some real life experiences to figure out what you want in life. I was personally 3 years out of high school before I went away to study. If I started right away, there's no way I would have been mature enough to have the right attitude in order to get the most out of my education. If you're on the fence, take some time to figure it out. College is expensive. 4 years and $20,000 to $100,000 can be spent in a lot of different ways. You better be pretty sure you can get a return on that investment. I saw firsthand classmate after classmate drop out with nothing more than a mountain of student debt. There are a few other things I'd like to caution you on if you are thinking about pursuing a degree in music. The social circles and hero worshipping that go on can really mess with your head. The player who is the most skilled is often seen as the hotshot around campus, but as soon as they graduate, that means little to nothing. Don't let that get to you if that guy isn't you, and if it is, don't let that get to your head. You should also try to understand the strengths and weaknesses of each teacher. I had some professors who were absolutely incredible musicians, but who were out to lunch when it came to the business. Figure this out so you can focus on their good advice and ignore the bad. Next, I'd like to warn you that at some point you'll probably get burnt out. This happened to me after 3 hard years of practicing jazz. Prepare for this and make sure you have balance in your life. Everything cannot revolve around music. And lastly, since a network is such a valuable commodity to acquire, you can't go and totally shut yourself out in the practice room for 4 straight years. Get out there and, as they say, get in in on the hang. At the same time, you can't spend too much time socializing. Don't forget about the balance. So to wrap this up, if you are considering going to music school, I want you to think long and hard about why you're doing it and if it really is right for you. Weigh your options. You don't need a degree to make it as a musician, and just because you have one doesn't guarantee anything. I didn't make this video with the intention of discouraging anyone. Instead, I want to encourage you to make the most informed choice. Ultimately, only you know what is right for you. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you found this video informative. Keep in mind, I'm just one person, and you should always seek diverse opinions. These videos are made possible by the awesome people who fund my channel through Patreon. If you like what I do, please consider checking out that program. Thank you to every one of you. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I will see you again soon.